Good morning, everyone. You are watching Campus France Live. Thanks a lot to be there with us. Today, we are going to talk about higher education in France and to discover a brand new program, the Advanced Master Program in Life Science and Health Management, the APiL. It's a program from ESCP Business School and the Pasteur Institute. To talk about it, I'm very pleased to welcome Dominique Franco. Hello.
Hello.
Thanks a lot to be there with us. You're Emeritus Professor of Surgery at Université Paris-Saclay, and we're also with Frédéric Jalard. Hello.
Hi.
You're Professor in the Marketing Department at ESCP Business School. You can ask all the questions that you have about this program, and let's begin with a quick presentation. Can you both introduce yourself? Let's begin with you, Dominique.
Well, as you mentioned, I was a surgeon first, working in liver surgery and transplantation. And when I retired from the hospital and the university, I went to Institut Pasteur for several goals. One, to develop the online teaching, and the second one was to do the promotion of the creation of startup. And we developed a certain number of events to this effect, and the largest one is the APiL program.
And Frédéric Jalard, can you tell us a few words about your career?
Certainly, thank you very much. So the first thing is I'm a marketing professor, as you emphasized, at ESCP Business School. And the proof that we are combining business with life sciences and healthcare is the proof of our wonderful team. I'm very privileged and very honored to partner with Dominique. As a matter of fact, I'm also strongly involved in healthcare and life science because I'm at the head of a program that is devoted to a more managerial oriented program in life science and healthcare. That is the advanced program in biopharmaceutical management, and that has been created 35 years ago. So we have a strong network. I would say we have strong networks together with Institut Pasteur and the ESCP Business School in this sector of activity.
And for the people watching us today, can you maybe introduce ESCP Business School in a few words? It's one of the oldest business schools in France.
It's the first business school in the world. And by the way, the founder is Jean-Baptiste Say, a very famous French economist who coined entrepreneurship, referring to the strange question of President Bush when he came and he asked for the equivalent in French of entrepreneurship. As a matter of fact, it goes without saying that entrepreneurship is a French word and has been created when Jean-Baptiste Say founded ESCP. Aside from that, we have very widespread territories, I would say, among which healthcare and biopharmaceutical management. We have a strong alumni network as a consequence, and we feel very privileged and very happy to partner with Institut Pasteur at that occasion.
Dominique Franco, can you describe what is the Advanced Master Program in Life Sciences and Health Management?
Well, the goal of this program is to help people to create new companies in the field of life sciences and health. And you know that most clinicians, most researchers, they first want to better describe the life and what has been around us. But I think the ultimate goal is to help patients to promote healthcare and the well-being of humans. There is really a great difficulty going from the bench to the bedside, to go to the ideas, to the creation of deliverables and products.
The idea, maybe Frédéric Jalard, was that it was difficult for scientific people to create their company, to have a business point of view. The idea is really to give them opportunities to go further and to practice their project in the business world.
Absolutely, there is a need for it. As a matter of fact, we have first-class research and scientists, but those research and scientists usually, at least in Europe, don't share the vocabulary, the grammar, the comprehension of the entrepreneurial world. So I think there is a step to go forward that APiL is trying to serve. Our purpose is to transform highly gifted researchers, scientists, or would-be entrepreneur with a passion for science and healthcare to go a little bit further and become successful entrepreneur. Not only by themselves, but surrounded by gifted teams that can also help them.
What will be, Dominique Franco, the program of the different classes of this advanced master? What will it be?
Well, we privilege the online teaching because we think it's a very new and modern way of teaching students. And so there is a lot of teaching around the fundamentals of marketing and financing and management, and also teaching about all what is peculiar in life sciences, the creation of companies, which requires time, money, working with the patient. So there are many difficulties before you raise money in this field, you know. And we also have 4 weeks on-site teaching, and these weeks will be dedicated mainly to encounter people, investors, for example, and people who work on clinical trials, people who work on regulatory issues, all which is very typical of health and life sciences.
Does it mean that it will be accessible, this program, from all over the world? There is no need to be in Paris to study the APiL program?
No, we want to have people from everywhere. This is the reason why the online part is very developed. They will have to spend 4 weeks in Paris anyway, 2 in each campus, but it's not too long. You know, even people who work, they can manage that.
So it's really giving them new keys to have a better point of view of what is a business world and how to talk with business people.
Absolutely. I wanted to add 2 things to what Dominique just said. The first one was that, yes, the online teaching methods has been privileged so that we have a true international emphasis, not only devoted to France nor to Europe, but a truly international exposure. And the second thing is, I want to emphasize also that there are many programs devoted to entrepreneurship. We are not the only one, but we may be the only one or among the very few that are tackling and touching the problems of healthcare and life sciences that are in many respects very specific. Of course, the technological side is obvious, but the regulatory side is not so obvious. The financial part and the financial cycles in healthcare and life science really need and will benefit from our very peculiar, specific approach. Aside from that, yes, the meeting with people in France/Europe on site is devoted to meet with the many stakeholders that are useful in life science and healthcare. We are speaking about venture capitalists, we are speaking about research scientists, we are speaking about gifted entrepreneurs, we are speaking about regulatory bodies, and so on and so forth. So those 4 weeks will be really dense and full. We may go and visit the AstraZeneca Innovation Hub. We may go and visit Station F. We may go and meet with different, very gifted experts. I think, frankly, we can be very proud of the plateau and the team we have been capable to motivate in that project. We are first-class entrepreneurs and gifted managers of sector.
There is a question I think that people may ask themselves is, do they need to already have a project, an idea of a company to create, or is it possible to only have this feeling and this wish, but without having the project really in mind?
As you like, everything is possible.
No, everything is possible, as Dominique emphasized in a very short way. No, that's a very important question, because I'm sure that the people that are looking at our discussions are involved and motivated to have the precise answer on this. The answer is very precise. You don't have to have a definite project, a really and truly defined project. We are serving the purpose of intrapreneurship, entrepreneurship, business development, venture capitalist, and so on and so forth. Which means what? Which means that the only requested thing is to be inclined to develop its own venture, whether internally or externally, in entrepreneurship and business development, and of course having a passion for life science and healthcare, which I think is obvious.
So they don't have to be afraid not to have a project,
Yeah.
as they will find a project during their course.
So it's not a program for already entrepreneur who wants to go to speed in their project. It's for people who want to work as entrepreneur.
Still, we know that some people will come with a project, and at the end of the course, they will have to give the business plan of the project. This is the final exam, in fact. But people who don't come with a project will join those ones, and they will work together and make a dream team.
There will be a successive architecture, if you wish, in projects. So whether you have a project and you will be accompanied by other potential students in the program that would like to join your own project and your genius idea, and not only will be helped, supported, and accompanied by those would-be entrepreneurs, but you will, of course, be coached and accompanied or sponsored, if you wish, by gifted entrepreneurs and best-in-class professionals in healthcare and life science, including venture capitalists, including all the stakeholders that you need to successfully achieve an entrepreneurial project.
What is interesting in what you are saying is that even if it's online classes with new method, you're going to follow precisely the different students, and they are going to interact one and another. Like it will be a real community.
Yeah, we will follow them online and on site.
The so-called hybrid teaching method is our teaching methods, which means, of course, we have a lot of things that are digital, online, webinars that are organized, but those can be synchronous or asynchronous. And of course, the whole spirit of the program, that's the reason why we are truly international, is not only to mix different capabilities and different personalities, but to mix also different nationalities. That would be very fruitful for would-be entrepreneur, or already people who have a project in mind.
We've talked a little bit about the different classes that you offer. What will be the balance between practical and theoretical courses? How will it work? For instance, in marketing and other studies, is it like looking at the different videos and having exam, or do you have a more practical point of view?
Well, each online courses will be accompanied by a webinar, for example, so they can discuss what they heard. And when they will be on site, we will deepen their knowledge about what they learned online. This is the goal of the on-site presence, and to ask questions, to have answers, and to meet people.
And they will have their own project, as you said, to develop from the beginning. How will it work? You will talk a little bit with them about the ideas that they have at the beginning, and then they're going to construct it. How will it work?
Well,
We absolutely, the first exercise of a would-be entrepreneur or an already gifted entrepreneur with a project in mind is to pitch. All right. So the first thing would be that the ongoing project or the project that Institut Pasteur and ESCP can bring to the table will be exposed to the whole class. All right. And then there will be a kind of aggregated sympathy or empathy for certain projects so that we can build ideal teams. And by the way, it doesn't mean that if you have been selected as a member of the team at the beginning, you will finish the whole program successfully. It means that there will be acid tests at each and every step of an entrepreneurial project, like in real life. So we are very close to the real life, which means that those guys will have to pitch in front of potential partners, meaning students willing to join, but then they will have to pitch in front of potential investors, in front of potential stakeholders, and so on and so forth. Which means that maybe some of the most successful of our students at the end will find financing, will find support, and will go into the real world with their preliminary entrepreneurial project. So there is a combination of real life through different meetings, webinars, lessons. We have what we call coaches and we have what we call mentors. The mentors will be like a sponsor of the potential project, and the coaches will coach people according to their field of expertise, regulatory issues, clinical studies, venture capital, and so on and so forth.
Does it mean that some project may stop during the process if it's not okay? And what happens if they have to stop? Do they have to do another project, or is it the end for them of the program?
No, they will join. They will join other projects.
Okay.
Yeah. There might be a selection at the very beginning first, but then it may change.
Yeah, there will be a successive aggregation, and it's not a bad news. It's just that, by the way, it's like in real life. So we are not considering to do classroom type of entrepreneurial thing. That will be the real life. So if the venture capitalists think that the project is maybe very interesting scientifically speaking, but doesn't have any potential, they won't find any investors like in the real life.
The idea behind that is that to be a good entrepreneur, you need to have a practical point of view. You need to have worked on project. You cannot decide one day that you're going to be an entrepreneur without having experienced it.
Yes, of course. You have to learn a certain number of things to become an entrepreneur. Not only be good at the bench, and very often first-class technologies just fail when you want to create a company because you don't know how to do, and you don't know how to find consumers. It is a very important step.
And by the way, not only you as an entrepreneur will succeed. One of the great idea of that program is to emphasize that you may have soft skills to develop, and you may have also a team. You're never successful in life science and healthcare alone. And such a myth like Steve Jobs and the likes doesn't exist. You have to have a scientific committee with people like Dominique. You have to pitch in front of people a little bit more business-oriented like I am. So you see, we are the combination that any entrepreneur in life science and healthcare will have to face.
Often investors say the first thing they look at are teams.
Absolutely, absolutely. Number one.
Inside and behind the project, who has seen it. It can be like a lonely man doing all the thing by himself.
The only man will fail. Teams are very important.
Can you tell us a few words about the teachers of the different courses? How will it work?
Okay,
You know,
up
you're
to you.
better than I.
No, absolutely not. No, I'm not better, by the way, because Dominique is very modest, but thanks him, we already registered 20 capsules last week at Institut Pasteur, and those capsules are represented by very gifted managers, high-level entrepreneurs, high-level professors, so investors as well. So we already covered a lot of those things. We are very proud to have, once again, a first division, I would say, a first level international team coming from different countries, coming from different expertise. Aside from that, there will be, of course, some teaching that will be probably a little bit more academic, because you have to get, insights and the basics of marketing, of corporate strategy, of finance, of business analytics and big data, of supply chain and logistics. So there will be a nice combination between providing our students with academic, but in a way academical, practical knowledge and experiences. Once again, you don't pitch in front of professor, you pitch in front of venture capitalists. We have those venture capitalists embark in the venture with us.
And do you have the flexibility maybe to adapt a little bit the program if you have like students coming with very specific thematics, like a very specific subject, you can adapt it?
So there are so many fields now, biotech, medtech, artificial intelligence, online medicine, so we will have to adapt at one point, depending upon the project will be defended.
We already talk a lot, and we will develop, for example, specific regulatory issues, because, as you probably know, it's very different in the biotech, in the medtech, and the e-health or big data management. So we have to tackle all those aspects, because, by the way, also, not only biotech, medtech, and the rest are specific, but now there is a convergence of the three words together in terms of solutions. So it's not only a molecule, it's not only a medical device, or it's not only data management, but it's all grounded in one final solutions. We are very well aware of that and capable to cover the 3, 4, 5 fields of expertise.
It's interesting, for example, to consider that some clinical studies may be replaced by in silico studies. And that make a lot of time gain, it's very important.
What background do you require to apply to the program?
We would like people like Dominique, for example, so gifted doctors, MDs, and let's say pharmacists, PhD students, of course, postdoc students if they are interested, professional in big pharmaceutical groups, for example, that are mainly following the program, first of all, to be exposed to many new fields, but also to remain in the company they are, but as intrapreneurs instead of entrepreneurs. We serve the two purposes. So I would say, in the majority of the case, that will be probably life scientists or students with a life science and healthcare background. That can be also, let's say, lawyers or even MBAs that have a passion for healthcare and life science, or that would like to develop their own venture in this field of activity.
And also engineers, chemists, for example, which are so important now in medicine.
Yeah.
But it's a program that is more dedicated to people who have already worked a little bit, or is it possible to join without any professional experience, like just finishing a master, for instance?
Well, I think the greatest reservoir are people with doing their PhD and their postdoc, because they are still young, very active, it's a bright intelligence. And those are the one we want to see in the program the most.
And by the way, they may come also with an idea. or a project that may not be definite, that may not be structured, but at least with an envy and an empathy for a science development project. But this is not compulsory to be that kind of guy. Another thing that we can add, and we already discussed that together, is that since we create teams, in a team, only having PhDs is probably a little bit limiting at some stage. So it would be nice to have also lawyers, to have also MBAs that are more sensitive to business. But once again, they have to have a passion for that because it's a very specific sector. And that's the reason why we are proud to launch the program.
And what are the different steps to apply to the program?
Well, you have to apply with a letter of motivation, a curriculum vitae, and then there is an interview. And there is nothing very specific in the interview. In 10, 15 minutes, you know people, and you understand if they are really motivated or not. And this is a very important step of the admission.
Yeah, as we said, there is that combination that seems strange on one side and the other, but that is not strange anymore for the two of us, high tech and high touch. So during the interview, we will, if you wish, measure the high touch aspects aside the project. By the way, there is still a little bit peculiarities in the selection process. We ask the students to build a pitch, whether it's a pitch on an already willingness to provide us with an idea, a concept, a proof of concept, a project, or this may be a fantasy. Or a best practice. It gives us some clues about the student's inclination on the field, like big data, like medtech, health tech, the level of expertise and knowledge, and the level of how could I say of the advancement of a potential project when there is a real potential project.
How can a student know if the program is good for him? What kind of question can he ask himself or herself to know if it's a good program in his personal development, in his career development? What can he ask himself?
I can say first of all, this will be a truly international program. This hopefully will be quite soon recognized on the world scale. That's our purpose and our willingness. The second thing is you will have a stamp in a way or a touch of Institut Pasteur, which is among the best research centers in the world, and ESCP, which is among one of the best business schools in the world. So that's a second thing that is very rare as a resource. I'm not sure a lot of other countries, a lot of other academic institutions in the world offer what we offer. Now, the question is, are you willing to invest a full year of your existence part-time whenever you want? Because as we said, there is a lot of on-distance learning, but are you willing to invest 1 year? That will be a really engaging, highly demanding year. Are you willing to invest the fees that are requested to enter the program? And do you think that our selection process, filtering process is worth the pain? Because once again, I hope and I'm sure that some of them at the end will make their dream turns into reality. Because we will do the same filtering process as the only thing is they will be accompanied, they will be sponsored, they will be coached So that's the real competitive advantage we offer to a newborn entrepreneur who just jump into the water without knowing what marketing is, what a business plan is, where are the potential partners, what a dream team means. We have a capsule about the dream team, going back to what we said. You never are successful alone in healthcare and life sciences as an entrepreneur. You have to be surrounded with gifted people.
And we have a capsule on pitches.
Yes.
Very important. Now there are many short programs developing in France right now because the government wants people to create companies. But there are a few weeks program and they learn things, but they are not accompanied for a long period of time as we will do. So.
Yeah, the idea is that it's not a program for people who want to have a new diploma, maybe to talk to their manager and say, okay, I'm a highly professional now, I know how to have a business, so give me a raise and give me more responsibilities. That's not. Sometimes it's good to do programs, to do that, to learn new stuff, and to have then a rise or to change the job. But here it's really an engaging program and maybe a life-changing program, because at the end they might have to quit their job with a new company and to begin the entrepreneurship experience.
This is our wish.
Yes, absolutely. And if that can serve the purpose of being recognized as a gifted entrepreneur, or to have the stamps of two, I would say, renowned institutions in the world, that's even better. But our first wishes is to equip those entrepreneurs/entrepreneurs in practicing their talents and their knowledge. And at the end, if they are equipped with talents and knowledge, that's our purpose. That's the mission that we want to serve.
You explained earlier that there is a 4 weeks program physically in France. Do you already know when it will be? It will be like 4 weeks, like 1 month, or will it be during the year? How will it work?
It will be divided in 1 week, then 2 weeks, 2 months later, then one last week, 2 months later.
Okay. So it's something that the
project will progress in between the weeks, and that's very important. That each time we will see them physically, they will have progress in their project.
That's the first thing, and the last meeting, if you wish, will be probably a very useful moment to have a feedback on a project on which they would have worked as a team 7 months already. You see. And no, and that will be continued, but I think it's your next question, by a traineeship period or a real-life entrepreneurial venture.
How will it be? When will it be? At the end of the year? How will it work?
Well, at the end, after the last week on site in Paris, they will have a 6-month period to be in company, and during that time they will build their business plan, and so they will come with some very they will have learned a lot of things, and this will be a very practical business plan, I think.
It's just last 6 months of the program?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, if we want to give the full agenda, clear picture, we will have like a 7-month full-time. I mean full-time online and offline, where during those 7 months teaching time, yes, you're right, because it's a part-time thing, and they can organize themselves with a lot of flexibility. Not full flexibility, because there will be meeting online, webinars, meeting with coaches, with stakeholders, but nevertheless they will have more freedom. Then those 4 weeks, as explained already by Dominique, 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 week, will finish, the last week will finish the 7-month, more or less, 7-8 month program, as strictly defined. Then there will be followed by 6 months. 6 months that can be working on their own project, which means trying to keep up the pace so that at the end of the year the whole thing is done, or working back for some players in the healthcare and life science for 6 months. And at the end, the very end of the day, the path, the year, they will have to whether pitch a business plan on which they will be evaluated, academically evaluated, or to pitch the traineeship period and a memoir that is partly professional, partly academic, like a memoir of, how could I say, post-experience studies that we delivered. So that's the 3 moments. I hope I was clear, but that's the 3 moments.
And for the 6 months where they're working on their project or working for a company, so they have to be physically where in France, or can it be internationally?
No.
Anywhere. If they work in the company, they will have to be in the company everywhere in the world, for example.
But they can stay if they are already professional and working for a company. They can stay
Absolutely.
on their own company
Yes.
and doing whether the project of business or
Le mémoire.
They have to make
The
their
memoir.
living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's
And-
interesting.
And by the way, I think we insisted, but once again, let's say that it's about entrepreneurship, but it's about business development and intrapreneurship. So we don't expect everyone to found their own venture as entrepreneurs, or they may join other ventures at the end. By the way, the traineeship period can be in big pharmaceutical companies, but it can also be at Institut du Cerveau, at Scientiam, small startups that are very dynamic and creating the news. It can be at Selectis, for example, one of our partner, Langscare, another partner in big data, in patient data analysis, in biotech, in genomics and engineering and things like that. You see?
And in terms of opportunities after the program, if they are not creating their own startup or their own company, what can they do with that kind of program? Maybe having a more business point of view in the environment they're working in?
I could have many answers to that. The first one would be consultant, because they would have been exposed to many, many different experiences. The second one would be, not entrepreneur in terms of founder, but CEO, CTO, venture capitalists on the other side of the money. They can...
A lawyer, for example, they can join a lawyer office.
Yes.
For
Absolutely, a legal office in many different fields. So they can be professional business developers, whatever business development means, international consultant, and so on and so forth. So all the stakeholders, all the players in the international ecosystem would probably welcome them very warmly.
And you already have, I imagine you talked about that, but you have a strong network, so you can, I imagine, see what kind of profile would go for what kind of company. You will accompany them to go further after the program.
Oh, in a way, Dominique, excuse me. In a way, they will be self-accompanied. They can do their own choice because they will meet with so many different kind of bodies that they may be. We have the illustration of that on the other program we are managing at ESCP. People are coming with a predefined vision of what they want to do. Let's say a product manager. And they finishes as venture capitalists because they discover, thanks to us and thanks to APiL, they will discover many different fields of expertise and different fields of exposure. That's also one of the service we provide to them.
It's very important that they meet people, really, and that's what we will offer them.
This opportunity. Yeah. We are now at the end of this live session. Before leaving our viewers, what last words do you want to say to the people watching us? Let's begin with you, Frédéric Jalard. What would be your last words to the people watching us?
I wish them good luck. I look forward to meeting with our future participants / students. And I'm sure we will have a delightful moments as we already have in the programs or the teaching educations that we are involving, both Dominique and I. So very good luck. You will be welcome, whatever your original field of expertise, your nationality, or your inclinations. And I hope you will be as international, as diverse, and as passionate for life science and health as possible, because this is a time that is a wonderful time to investigate business in life science and innovation management in healthcare. That's a wonderful moment, a revolution almost.
Dominique Franco, your last
Yes,
word.
I would like to convince clinicians, researchers that are looking to us that there is another life, which is to build something and to produce and to improve healthcare, to take care of patients, and that can be done only if you follow a course like that, a cursus like that.
Thanks a lot to the two of you for having been with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks to you for having watched us. If you want more information about the program, don't hesitate to visit the website of ESCP Business School, and you can keep on asking the different questions that you have on the chat sections. The team of ESCP and the Institut Pasteur are going to look very precisely to your question and to answer all of them. Have a good day and see you soon on Campus France Live.